everybody. I gotta get it used to that new intro with the leading in. How's everybody doing this Tuesday evening? It is time for the filthy truth. Where's everybody at tonight? I want to see it in the comments. I got a couple from Saskatchewan, some from BC. How's it going, everybody? I hope you guys are doing well. I'm doing pretty good. I'm gonna say though, to be honest, today was a little bit of a more very exhausted type of day. I don't know why the hell I'm so tired today. It's like I can't get going. But I did manage to get up. I did manage to get my workout in. I did manage to go for my 45-minute walk. I did manage to burn my calories, which I got all of my checklists, which is amazing. All right, we got Ontario, Illinois, Georgia. Oh, Joanne, how's the weather in Georgia? Tell me it's sunny. It's cold here. It's raining right now. Wyoming, hi everybody from the United States. Hi everybody from Canada. Hi everybody from wherever you're at. This is amazing to see all you guys hanging out and joining us this evening. Just a few things, guys, a few housekeeping notes. I just wanted to put it out there that if you guys can like and share this video, that's going to help us kind of get the message out. It's also going to help kind of get rid of those get higher those algorithms. We want them higher up there, please and thank you. Also, what did she write? Sunny tomorrow. It will be 80 degrees. Nice. Yeah, it was snowing this afternoon here. It was kind of off and on, but yeah, it was snowing here in Winnipeg today. It was like, God dang. I just wish it would just get warm already. This is crazy. Ohio, Tennessee. Oh, cheapers. You know where I've always actually wanted to go to Tennessee. I've always wanted to go to Nashville. So that would have been that's like a bucket list place to go to. Saskatchewan, been through Saskatchewan a few times. Definitely been through Saskatchewan a few times. Got to get there to get to Alberta. BC. Nice. We got lots from BC. Florida. See, Annette's got it right. We all need to go to Florida. It's like the land of the free down there. It's like where normal people hang out and just are good to just do things. So let's just start off with everything. Let's just kind of nail it right out. So Canada's now talking about making the fourth shot a thing. So that's kind of cool. We've got Russia that wants to start a war with Canada because Putin doesn't like Trudeau. What else do we got going on? Oh, gosh darn. Are you guys tired of the slap that is being talked about relentlessly on Instagram, on Facebook? More on Facebook than Instagram. I'm going to say that it's way more. Oh, gosh. See New Mexico. Belinda, you and I are going to talk later. I got to get my butt down in New Mexico. I hear it's so pretty down there. Yeah, so the slap guys, gosh, like, all right. First of all, in the comments, how many of you guys think that it was staged? Before I go any further, how many of you guys think that that slap was staged? I just want to kind of get a feel for how many think it was staged.
It took too long of him to get up after the joke was said for it to be anything but.
Yeah. If there was this one picture on, I can't remember, I was scrolling through something today, and it looked like they I don't know if they photoshopped it or whatever, and it looked like there was like a pad on Chris Rock's face to take the slap. So we're kind of getting publicity stunt. Some people are saying no, mostly staged. We need to cut off Hollywood. I could not agree with you more, John. Oh my gosh, I could not agree with you more. Was staged, absolutely. Susie, I love that. That's awesome. Staged 100%. I too think it was 100% staged, just because he walked up to him, and even if it wasn't staged, Alex, hey, you kind of think that
I hit the wrong button. It's my show now.
I think that it was because Will Smith, first of all, was laughing to start off with that. Jada Pinkett Smith, well, we all know she's a little bit crazy. And then after that, he slapped Chris Rock, which I loved how quiet the whole building got. I didn't actually see it. I didn't actually even know what was happening until I woke up the next day to see all over Facebook. And I was like, this is just insanity. I can't believe that is getting as much attention as it can be. I just cannot believe that Yeah, that's all happening. And my biggest thing that was that I really wanted to talk about was how woke were they this year? That was insanity. We feel like we just are keeping on shoving down this woke ass stuff down people's throat. And I have people who were texting me and saying, "Oh, I watched it live. It was really awesome." And I'm like, who watches the Oscars nowadays? First of all, Pfizer. Yeah, I was just gonna go there. Pfizer and biotech sponsored the show. They sponsored the show. So, we're all about health here, and we're all about equality, and we're all about blah 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 blah. But I don't know. Anyways, that's neither here nor there. But yeah, there's just some fun stuff that's happening for it. And and if it wasn't staged, then I still think that Will Smith needs to grow a pair and take a joke. And because this is kind of like everybody's so bloody sensitive nowadays. Like you can't like why is everybody so sensitive?
I look at it like this: if it wasn't staged, there would have been more of a physical altercation than just a little slap.
Well, right. And everybody's saying that Chris Rock was such a man for taking it and not doing much about it. And I'm like, no, I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know. Yeah, I did. And yeah, people are like, oh yeah, they're like setting up the scene for, Jada Pinkett Smith's baldness or whatever. And it was perfectly groomed. She had perfect hair. It was perfectly shaved. Like, don't tell me you have a fucking disease because you're so full of shit.
Apparently was going through something, and
yeah,
I really don't care.
Yeah, I don't.
Who cares? You know what? I look at it like this. The ragtags, all these things are like putting out news about celebrities, and it's like, who cares?
Yep.
Does it matter if your best friend slaps so-and-so in the face? Not really. It was probably funny, but if you weren't there to see it, who cares?
And the biggest thing is that everybody who was stood there stunned in silence all gave him a standing ovation, 20 minutes later when he won some stupid award for whatever the hell he was doing. Come on.
And
you can't.
It's just ridiculous.
I got to stand with Jim Carrey on this one. Jim Carrey's going to take a lot of flack for what he said today, but anyways, that's enough for Hollywood. That's all.
What did he say? I don't know what he said.
He just basically said that that Hollywood didn't deserve, that they shouldn't have stood up for him and given him a standing ovation. That it was wrong of them to do that, and hypocritical, I believe, was the word he used. So. I mean, it is what it was.
Canadian Jim Carrey.
Yeah, good old Canadian boy there. But yeah, I agree with you, Diane. Just another distraction, just something else to pull your attention away from, either what's going on in the Ukraine or what's going on at home, all the bills that they're going to be passing by and all the other bullshit that they're going on. I don't really care. I just wanted to
I believe this comment is about national security, where Chris Rock always goes, "Security!" And they tackled the ex-old lady or something. Yeah.
I don't know that. But I think that it's an interesting situation. And I agree with you guys. It's completely a different distraction and just something else to fuel the almost like just enough to fuel the sheep a little bit more into thinking that the Hollywood people are on their side and that, the elites are there to whatever. And, they get to go there mask free and they still have their kids masked, I believe, in California. Maybe correct me if I'm wrong, if anybody's from California. But I'm pretty sure that Californians still have to mask their children going to school, but yet the elites get to go out and celebrate. And COVID's not even a thing anymore. So, anyways, I digress. That is all done and moving on to the next topic. What I did want to talk to you guys about, which is the basis of the show, which is in this book that I am reading. And this book that I am reading is literally changing it's not that it's changing perspectives, but it's definitely awakening up a giant or waking up the beast that's inside. So it's called Relentless by Tim Grover. And the line that that even the show is titled under, it's called Make a Choice or a Choice Will Be Made for You. And the reason I wanted to talk about this tonight was because we are in a situation now more than ever, because they are pushing that fourth shot. I think they're already pushing the fifth one in Australia, and they already pushed the fifth one in Israel, if I remember correctly. This book really is a call out. Now, not a lot of people will agree with it. Not a lot of woke people will agree with it because he uses some pretty harsh words. So if you're one of those sensitive people, maybe don't read the book. But if you really kind of want to take a chance and wake up a beast inside of you and wake up the the person that actually wants to go after your goals, you really need to do this. And so what he means by the make a choice or the choice will be made for you, it's this. And this is the big backing. If you guys are following me on Instagram, you will see exactly what I'm talking about with this. We are in a state right now more than ever that we really need to make sure that we are caring for our health. In Saskatchewan, so for our American friends, they are going to pass a tax. I believe it starts in the month of October or November. They will tax people going to the gym. So if you're going to the gym, you now have to pay 6% more taxes to get to the gym, which means they are not going to, they are going to eventually outlaw gyms and being fitness, right? They're going to make it so that it really is harder for you to work out because already they're crushing us so much with the gas pumps. Already they're crushing us. I see that veganism should be outlawed. To each their own dietary, but I do well being a vegan, so I will keep pushing it. But they are coming after our health. They are coming after us, and they are coming after people who are going to the gym. In Saskatchewan, they passed that tax law. It's called the fitness tax. And 6% of your of people who go to the, like, you have to pay 6% more now in that fitness tax. So we have to work even harder now to protect our health so that when they do shut down the gyms again, when they do enforce that fourth shot again, when they do make it so that you are going to be so dependent on them that they only give you the foods that are going to keep you overweight, they're going to keep you sick, they're going to make you sick, because with all of that stuff, all the processed foods and the cheap foods that you're gonna maybe get if you actually get the food, is going to make it so that your health is going to be sacrificed. They want you sick. The CDC today, if I was going through TikTok and I actually found this website through TikTok and I went to it, and I believe it was the CDC, they actually have now all the side effects and the total amount of side effects per thing that was quote unquote reported. Guaranteed there's way more. If they're putting that on there, that's like probably only 40% of what they put out. People, this is like the biggest time. Like no other time in history could I think that they were ever coming and attacking you for your health. Because if you think about it, back in the 20s, the 30s, the 40s, you know, and even before then, like, were there any overweight people? No, not really, because they had to work for everything, right? Farmers had to work to get the cows going, to get the chickens, to plow the fields, to do all of this stuff. And farming is becoming a quote unquote dying breed of work, I guess, because there's like the kids don't want to necessarily do it because everybody gets a ribbon generation doesn't really want to put in the work. They just want to get them some money. So they're perfect candidates for the basic income system. We don't want that. We need this to be so important. And so you have to make a choice, or the choice is going to be made for you. You have two paths when we talk about this. You literally have to choose real food, real work, working out, going for a walk, taking care of your mindset, making sure that you guys are blocking the haters, making sure that you guys are taking your lives back. And then, or you have the other choice. And I'm never going to fault anybody for going to get the shot for out of fear or for out of losing their jobs. I don't agree with it, but I can't say that they're in the wrong because they did it out of fear. My mom went for the third one, I just found out. And it's absolutely like when I found out, like I could feel my heart sink, but I didn't want because already we were already having a talk about the fact that she still wears a mask, and I was just kind of ripping on her a little bit. And then my heart sank when I found out the third one that she had already had, which I kind of figured she would. But we have to make the choices because we have become so dependent on Western medicines to save us. We have become so dependent on, well, I'll just go for gastro bypass surgery and I'll lose 150 pounds. Unless you're type 2 diabetic, there really is no reason to go for such invasive surgery that can literally alter your whole entire life. Not only
that's where they staple this. Sorry, that's where they staple the stomach, right?
They'll staple it, or they'll put a band on it, or they'll cut a piece of another, and then they'll make like a smaller stomach out of it, or something like that. Yeah, like
I've heard 90% of it doesn't work because the people continue eating what they're not supposed to be eating.
So that's where I was going to go with that. Through all of this stuff as well, we keep getting people who are sick or looking for these quick fixes. They're looking for Weight Watchers. They're looking for paleo diets. They're looking for keto diets. They're looking for veganism. They're looking for carnivore diets. They're looking for diets. Diets don't do nothing because they don't teach you real things. And I just saw somebody here, can't do vegan, but I can get my meat from local farmers and grow a garden myself. And that's like, for me, I'm not a vegan. Maybe I am sometimes. I am sometimes. I'll totally fucking call myself out on it. But I do understand that people eat meat. I make eggs for my kids and I cook chicken for my kids because they're not vegan. And I've had to force myself to do that in the last 6 months. I never cooked eggs or meat for them before. But I really forced myself in the last 6 months to do that. I can't do red meat though, or bacon. They cannot have that in my house. But I understand that. And I always say to the people who eat meat, you got to give a shit where it comes from. You have to care where it comes from, because there are a lot of farmers who are just going to pump these things full of GMO and corn and get them as fat as they can so that they got the biggest meat. And then they pump the cows with milk with more GMOs, and then they do just a lot of really shitty things to these animals. Now, if you can find these locally grown farms where they have a grass-fed, where they're released and they're able to be just animals, I don't, again, the killing process is where it kind of hits me a little bit more, but I understand that people are going to eat meat. But to those people, you have to be careful where you get it from. If you see that piece of meat that's in the back of the Safeway aisle and it's like souping with blood, like, you might not want to buy that, because you really don't know how long it's been there. Okay. Buying meat at Walmart is probably a bad idea too, especially because Gates has so much involved with that. I wouldn't be surprised at this point if there's no bugs in there, like as he said, bug burgers a while ago. And then I understand here in Manitoba, we have a couple of farms where the cows are running free and they just eat off the land. And that's awesome. And if that's the type of meat eater you are, then my only follow up to that is just make sure that you eat it all.
We get the wild meat. Yeah. Deer, moose, stuff like that.
See, even when I was a meat eater, I couldn't eat that. I could never eat that. I wasn't a big red meat person though. I did do chicken though. And
I don't do pork anymore. My body, a lot of
people have that.
The only thing I do eat and I won't give up is bacon.
But see, now that's how come I actually went vegan again, because I had bacon always made me sick. It always made me sick. Red meat always made me sick. And I never felt good after I ate it. Actually, that's why I went vegan. It had nothing to do with the animals before. I went vegan because meat just never agreed with me.
And see, a friend of ours had to actually stop being vegan because her skin and her body wasn't getting enough nutrients in that. Yeah. And she eats mostly poultries and stuff like that to get it up. But like the doctor said, yeah, you're allergic to beef and pork, but you're not allergic to chicken
Yeah.
and this, and you need to start eating it because you're not getting enough protein, you're not
Yep.
getting enough this. And it's as she started, her skin started to clear up, she started to feel healthier, and it's
Oh,
like
100%. You know, and
sometimes
there's people
it's
that are designed to eat meat, and there's like, if you're going to do vegan, you have to do vegan smart. You can't just go into it blindly, because if you do it blindly, you're maybe getting 30 grams of protein a day and then you're probably at like 6, 7, 8, 900 carbs a day, and you're probably at about like 60, 70, 80 grams of fats. And I saw Angela wrote here, Gates funds Beyond Meat. Beyond Meat is absolutely 100% disgusting. I have it once in a very, very, very blue moon. But since I started to switch over how I've been eating, I actually don't eat it. It's actually like it like, how do you say that in English? Like, it just really it doesn't sit well in my whole being. Like, nothing about it feels good. Like, the energy even feels bad about it. Like, that's what I'm talking about. How about turkey? I used to eat chicken and turkey. Those were the two that I would have more often than not. The white meats give you really good quality protein, especially if the turkeys are wild run. That's crap. It's I think that's you're on mute there, bud.
yeah. And then this stuff.
Yeah, like, see, like, those are good for treats once in a while, but I believe that there's gluten in that, and I can't even eat gluten. So yeah.
We have sometimes we watch kids who are vegan. So like we do have alternatives, and it's like
Yeah.
some of them are good, but some of them are just,
And that's the
they
thing,
taste
right? If you look at
gross.
all the diets that are out there, you can, like, I'll walk into like Vita Health here, and I'll see just a whole bunch of keto friendly snacks. They have keto friendly snacks everywhere. It says, sometimes it'll say vegan, and then it's got the little Canada Health Check. So if you're not sure, for our American viewers, the Canada Health Check is basically like a heart with a little check mark in it. I don't know if you guys have that in the States. Maybe you have a version of a health check in the States, but they promote it to be healthy. Now, just because it says keto on it, or just because it says vegan on it, just because it says gluten-free on it, just because it says paleo, just because it says whatever, doesn't mean it's healthy. Take a look at the grams of sugar that you guys are ingesting. Like, that alone is like insanity. So again, when we go back to make a choice, or the choice is going to be made for you, you guys have to really be careful here when we're moving the needle forward in health, because health and what you eat will literally affect everything from your mindset to your depression to your anxiety to your inflammation in your joints, to what's going on in your heart, what's going on in your lungs. If you're eating a high sodium diet, your whole body's going to be swollen because you're not, all the salt, they can't get out fast enough. So then you think about, when you think about your hands after you've had a big salty meal, and like they feel like they're harder to move, or like they're moving in mud. Okay, think about that with your lungs as well, and your heart. If everything is so swollen and you have all of this stuff around your heart, that's crazy. Now, I know that I had 3 people reach out to me in the last little bit, and 3 people, one was doing the carnivore diet, one was doing the keto diet, and one was doing intermittent fasting. And I asked them flat out first thing, because I never, ever, ever interject my thought on a diet. I'll tell you that diets don't work. Eventually, what you want to do is you just want to learn what foods work for you. You want to learn how much food you're eating, so you should be tracking it. And you want to know what your calorie range is, so that you're not eating like 5,000 calories a day. This is the problem with what's going on right now, and why obesity is such a main problem in our world, because everything is high fat, high saturated fats, and it's the carbs are just so crazy loaded. Seafood diet. Yes, seafood and eat it. Is that what, like,
I was just about to say that. I see food and
I see food and I eat it. I used to have that diet. Well, that's why I used to be 205 pounds. but I do believe that we're in a civilization and in a time right now where it's super 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 important that we are mindful of how much food we're eating and all that. So going back to those three ladies, the first thing I asked them was well, how are you feeling on your diets? One said that they felt like they were starving and that they felt like they had no energy. So that was the keto diet. Never any energy, felt tired all the time. They lost some weight, so they were really happy about that progress, but they were tired all the time. The second one, who said they were doing the carnivore diet, said the same thing. Felt tired all the time, felt lethargic, felt like gut rot was the word that she used. And then the third one was doing intermittent fasting. She said she would be starving, 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 and then she would eat, and then she felt better. She did that for a few weeks, and then finally she found a system that worked for her. So I said, well, if intermittent fasting is working for you and you feel good about it, and you don't feel like you're restricting yourself or putting yourself in a nutrition jail, then have at it. The other two ladies I asked, I said, well, if you were flipping, like if we could flip things around a little bit and we could talk about, like, with the carnivore diet, for example, like, why did you go carnivore? And then she would tell me why she went carnivore. And she said, well, she went carnivore because she said that she saw two people talk about it. One was Jordan Peterson's daughter, had an autoimmune disease. I guess she cured it through this. So I saw the TED Talks. I wanted to make sure I was informed about that. Saw the TED Talks, and you're going to have a hard time convincing, first of all, a vegan that the carnivore diet works. But as a coach, I have to park that and I have to take a look and listen to the science and listen to the information that these people are saying. But she was saying that she felt gut rot all the time. So we kind of went through what the meat that she was eating. Well, she was eating a lot of red meat. I'm like, that's probably why. I said, why don't, if you want to continue to follow this and you don't feel like you're in nutrition jail and you don't feel like you're restricting anything and you don't feel like you're missing up on anything, then I said, why don't we try to add more white meat? Why don't we try to add more fish? And so she's going to try that, and I can keep you guys posted and let you guys know on that one. The keto diet, she just said, and I asked why, and she just said because, everybody else was doing it. And then I said, okay, well, the keto diet is great for people who are type 2 diabetic. And the reason it's great for type 2 diabetics is because it does limit the simple carbs that will spike your sugars and your insulins, and it's to maintain that. So unless you're type 2 diabetic, there really is no big perks to the keto diet, because you do feel more tired. You do feel more lethargic. You do feel more, lethargic was the biggest one I got. And I've had many, many clients who tried the keto diet, and all we did was we reintroduced greens, so green vegetables, so that they could bring back some veggies into their diet. And we kind of slowly introduced a couple more vegetables. We didn't bring back any of at least she didn't want to bring back any of the or the fruits. And I was totally cool with that. She didn't want to bring back certain rices and certain potatoes. I was totally cool with that. One of the potatoes that I did tell her or suggest to her was a sweet potato, because a sweet potato actually has a lower glycemic index, and it doesn't spike yourself up. What's this? We doing meat versus vegan versus vegetarian. Oh, see, that would be a fun little competition too. That could be fun. You're on mute again, bud. You're on mute. Mute.
And have them on the show so they can all put their input of how they're doing. I
Yeah,
do that.
I think it'd be fun to actually have these conversations with and I actually have a couple guys from the First Form headquarters there that I've been talking to and I'm going to get them on the show, and we're going to talk about that because they're all meat eaters, and they were surprised even for a vegan like myself to be able to get 130 grams of protein a day. And I'm like, yeah, well, I mean, nice. I got to make sure that I'm freaking monitoring everything I eat, but I'm also really educated in being a vegan that I know how to get my protein. I don't go and buy protein bars. I don't go and buy I actually eat black beans. I eat chickpeas. I eat tempeh. I eat everything I'm supposed to. Do I eat it?
You eat the things that are high in protein.
Yeah, I eat high in protein, and everything else is in the carbs. What's this? Husband is type 2 and he sleeps. Yeah. Type 2 diabetes is an interesting beast. I've had so many clients that have had it. I've actually had 2 clients that went into, I want to say, quote unquote, remission on it. The remission on it was the fact that they just didn't have to take their insulin anymore. And that was really cool, because what happened is they lost One lost 85 pounds and the other had lost 35 pounds. And it was enough to put them in what's called remission of the type 2 diabetes, which means it basically didn't have it anymore. So medically, they didn't have it anymore in their stats, in the blood that they gave. So we had to be stupid careful. We had to be really, really careful to making sure that they stayed on top of their fitness, they stayed on top of their nutrition, making sure that they were eating what they were supposed to be eating. And and if they were going to have the night outs where maybe the pizzas and the beer was going to kind of fly a little bit more, then what we did was our due diligence for the week following to it. And then the next day, we really tried to clean them up a little bit. But man, oh man, yeah, type 2 diabetes, it can take a toll on somebody. The best thing to do to control type 2 is through nutrition. So keto, intermittent fasting works great for type 2 diabetes, and weight loss. If there's even 30 pounds to lose, for type 2 diabetes, it could literally mean the difference between saving somebody's leg in the future to even having it go into remission. I had one lady, we got close to it, but we couldn't quite get her off the meds, which was too bad. That was always kind of like the one thing that I was like, what could I have done more to help her out, so that we could have gotten her. We were so close, but we couldn't get it. And even with all the weight loss, I do believe now that she's had, I still do believe that she still has it. So maybe it's just one of those cases that it would just never go away. But that's what I mean here when we talk about make the choice, or the choices are going to be made for you. Like, if you have a choice right now, and I did this live the other day, and I did this live with my Kickstart My 90 group, and I'm going to just kind of quickly talk about it. I did post it on my YouTube page. So if you guys do want to go see it, you guys can go ahead and watch it. I think it's a really good live to watch. But this is my dad here. So I was pregnant here with my son. I think I was about 4 months pregnant, and my dad here, he's about 10 months pregnant. So that was my dad, and this was a year and a half before he died. So I don't know why this picture just happened to be here the other day, but it just happened to be here. And I was talking to my girls in the group page, and his choice was made for him because of the choices he was making. As you can see, my dad was not a healthy man. And in his pocket right here was a pack of cigarettes. Okay, my dad liked to smoke. My dad liked to drink. And my dad, as you can see, liked to eat a lot of food. And not the food that was good for you, but the hamburgers and the fries and the whatever the hell else he can get his hands on. But this is my dad, and my dad is my example of that quote that I said. Make the choice, or the choice will be made for you. My dad died of a massive heart attack in my backyard. He was 54 years old. He smoked. He drank a lot of coffee. He didn't drink a lot of water. He did when he was doing these fishing tournaments. We were coming back from a fishing tournaments here. And he was just very unhealthy. But unfortunately, this is what most people look like nowadays, because it is just so easy to fall in the trap. And it is so hard for people, especially my dad's age. He would have been 60. I think he would have been 69. I would have made the 69 cake too. I'm telling you right now, when my mom turns 69, she's getting that cake. But I think he would have been 69 this year.
My wife's mom is going to turn 50, and we're getting like 50 crows, 50 thing, and she lives in an apartment building. So we're going to deck out her hall.
Crazy. Yeah, see, it's going to be fun, and this would have been a cool thing. But so in my group, or in the live, if you guys want to go watch it, I'm 44 years old. So in 10 years from now, if I was standing in my dad's shoes, I would have been facing my last year alive if I was my dad 10 years before. And I have the question, if I could ask him when he was 44 years old, Dad, at 54 you're going to die. He's 44 right now, and I'm asking, Dad, you're going to die at 54 years old on December 27th, 2 days after Christmas, at 11 o'clock at night. That's going to be your last day on earth, because you had atherosclerosis. You've had many heart attacks in between now and then. What do you do? What do you want to do? You have 10 years to change your life, because in 10 years he could have altered the path. So look at yourselves right now. And if you are making choices for yourself that are bettering yourself, keep it up. But if you're making choices where you know they're not the best, and you know when you look at yourself in the mirror, you're like, fuck, I could do better. Like, I could do better. Why am I not doing better? Why do I keep making these damn decisions that keep me here? My back hurts, my knees hurt, my hips hurt, my shoulders hurt, my everything hurts. My self-esteem is broken. I don't love myself. I hate the reflection in the mirror. I am an awful, awful, gross human being that is nothing, and it's disgusting. Now, I don't know if that's what he thought about himself, but I know that that's how a lot of my clients thought of themselves. And I know a lot of women who think of themselves like that. I know a lot of men who think of themselves this way. That's why they don't take their shirts off when they're at the beach. I get it. I understand.
I used to have that problem.
Right?
Didn't like how I looked, and then as I got older, I turned 18, and I was like, I like how I look. I don't care what you think. I lose weight and I build muscle. I haven't been under 280 pounds, but I've gone from a size 4XL to an extra large, guys. Like,
that's awesome. That's really cool.
Yeah.
But those are the decisions you have to make, guys. And when we make these choices, and when we decide that we want to choose life, you got to think, when you carry the heart of carrying the extra weight, you're still facing a hard. When you are carrying the heart of going to the gym and making sacrifices and saying no, it's a different kind of hard, but those kind of hards might be buying years in your future. Now, Carl asks here, what's the difference between type 1 and type 2? Type 1, you're born with. So type 1 is it's right off the hop. Your kidneys just aren't working the same, and it's the same idea where your body's not producing enough sugar. The insulin is just too high. And with type 2 diabetes, you need insulin. Yes, thank you, Joanna. You need insulin. You do need insulin too with type 2. My father-in-law, for example, he was type 2, and he had insulin. And type 2 is something that's usually developed over time. The indigenous population here in Canada is like type 2 is a huge problem in many communities. I actually was working with this one community a few years ago on healthy body, healthy mind for them. And they were riddled with type 2, that to the point where their 10-year-old kids were now being diagnosed with it, because it is usually through lifestyle. Now, sometimes it's, inherited, which really, really sucks. But type 2 is something that's usually through lifestyle. Type 2 is usually something that's come on from something that's happened in your life. Sometimes you're just had really shitty luck and you got it. Some women get no.
Sir, type 3? No, just the 2.
Yeah,
okay.
1 and 2. Women sometimes who have get their diabetes through pregnancy, which I believe is called gestational diabetes.
Yes, it is.
Yeah. Okay. Because I always call it something else, and I'm like, okay, I'm going to call it the other thing.
Gestational diabetes.
Yeah, gestational diabetes.
And actually, they can get rid of it by having the baby. Sometimes their body will just once they give birth, they don't have it anymore. But some people do end up keeping it. Very rare, but I have heard cases of it.
Yeah. And diabetes is definitely like, it's not a fun disease to watch as it starts to take its toll. It's really difficult to watch that. And sometimes I thought I saw somebody write down that their husband has it and is really, really skinny. And I can't quite remember where I saw that on the list. But sometimes it's just the fate that we have as people. But we definitely can still control it through nutrition. We can definitely try to do better things to make it so that we can try to manage it the best that we can. But type 2 is adult onset, and it is usually something to do with lifestyle. Usually, sometimes too with type 2, when you're eating nutrition and you're doing good. I believe when I was doing my research a couple years ago, I feel like I'm actually going to go through it now. and I'll actually try to find the proof for this again, but I feel like stress and anxiety were also things that help get type 2. And I do believe get him on keto. He just went for insulin. Yeah, absolutely. Keto diet could be a huge thing, because the thing is that so complex carbohydrates and simple carbs, they are not the bad guy. So for everybody here who thinks carbs are bad guys, they're actually not, because glycogen lives in our muscles, and we actually need glycogen for energy. It's science, guys, and it's not science with a dollar sign. It's actual real science. But sometimes when we're facing type 2 diabetes, those things can actually cause issues in our bodies. So you want to stay away from the things that are going to spike your insulin up. And what I mean by that is we're usually in a balanced state. So I'm going to go across the stream here. So you usually have two wavelines that go like this. Okay, you have your sugar line, and then you have your insulin line. The insulin line is the bottom one. So on the top, when you guys are taking, we'll say if you guys have an apple, well, what's going to happen is it's going to come up. Your sugar levels are going to come up, and then they're going to slowly come down. While that sugar is at about almost at its top, the insulin starts to rise, and it goes a little bit higher than the sugar, because what it's trying to do is it's trying to trap it so that we don't need all of this sugar in our body. So it's coming to match it, and then it's trying to bring it down. But the problem is that sugar crashes a little bit faster than the insulin comes down. So when we have these type 2 diabetes situation, it's because we've spiked our sugar so much that eventually we just got this insulin resistance in our body, and we kind of ended up crashing ourselves out. And carbohydrates became the quote unquote bad guy. I believe, when was that? Like at the late 90s, early 2000s, something like that. And they're actually really, really good for you. But we have to remember that complex carbohydrates and simple carbohydrates, okay, so if you don't know the difference, simple carbohydrates are things like bananas, apples, and things like complex carbohydrates are things like potatoes and rice. And pasta is probably the number one culprit as to why carbs are got the bad guy name. Pastas we eat way too much of. Pastas we just like suck back like they're going out of style. All we'll have is like how many, I can't tell you how many times I've seen people with like a big bowl of ramen noodles or whatever, and just that's it. Well, you're actually only supposed to have half a cup to maybe a cup of that, and then you're supposed to have protein, and then you're supposed to have a fat with that. Okay. Pasta is where the bad guy name came from with the complex carbohydrates, and bread. So you got to remember that kind of stuff. Pasta is like paste. Yeah, it's like thick. It's just like thick and gummy, and like if you overcook it, it looks like you can glue shit together with it. Like it's totally true. And so
it's like you smushed down a bunch of overcooked rice and made a sheet out of it.
Yeah, 100%. And so we really have to be mindful of those kind of carbs. Okay. Now there's nothing wrong with having them, but we want to monitor how much we're having of them. So that's the biggest difference here between all of that. So when I kind of go back to the beginning, and I just kind of want to like bring this all back, is when we're eating foods, we have to eat foods that fuel your body. Now, I'm never saying never go out for ribs again. I'm not saying never go out for pizza again. Never go eat a bag of chips again. Never go eat whatever that you guys love. Don't do that, because you want to make sure that you're out of a nutrition jail. But you have to start being mindful and adding different things to those meals. Okay. Number one, if you want pasta, great. Why don't you make it so that I actually had, what the hell were they? It's called NU pasta, NU pasta. And it's actually made out of a root. There's no grams of fat in it. There's no carbs in it. And it's like basically just a filler if you really want pasta. To me, it tastes the same. I don't know. I don't really know what real pasta tastes like, because I usually eat chickpea pasta. I eat chickpea pasta.
That's because we're not Italian. It's because we're not Italian. The Italians know true pasta.
Yeah, it's true. But I'll have like chickpea pasta when I'm having pasta, because it's got protein in it. It's just another source that I can add more protein. But it's caked. It's loaded with vegetables. Thank you. Cognac roots. See, I knew it started with a K. I couldn't quite remember it. Thank you again.
Cognac.
It was actually not the drink.
Oh, okay.
Oh, that's
okay.
Thanks.
Sure.
But there you go. So that's kind of where we're at, guys. Alex, can you please put up the What the Health Winnipeg page? I put it up there on the banners there. This is kind of exactly where I've been going with everything in my life for the last few weeks, guys. This is where I really want to help educate people on making smarter, healthier choices, even just tweaking things a little bit here and there so that you do make slow progress, baby steps, because you have to remember that a win is a win no matter how small it is. It's right here. It's on the ticker, guys. If you're on Facebook right now, head over to that group page. Keep it scrolling, Alex, please. Keep it. Get yourself to that spot. Get yourself to What the Health page and get to that and ask the questions. But I want to make sure.
Like the ticker.
Well, thank you. Okay.
So I changed it. So just
perfect. But what I mean by a win is a win is if you only drink a glass of water, tomorrow try to drink 3 glasses of water. That's a win. If you guys are ordering a pizza, instead of eating maybe a whole medium pizza, maybe have 3 slices of pizza and then have a nice like medley of vegetables. So you can do one of the things that we talked about in our group call last night was instead of eating it was like 3 slices of pizza, load the pizza with vegetables, then have vegetable skewers. You can have vegetable skewers. You could put chicken on your pizza. You can put your bacon on your pizza. You could put broccoli on your pizza. You could put onions on there. You could put mushrooms and then have your skewers. And it's a great, great addition.
She's making me hungry, guys.
So these like little simple things that you can do just to keep your favorite meal and just health it up a little bit. So join that page, guys. It's going to help. And again, celebrate the small things. So again, if you guys don't drink a lot of water, maybe tomorrow morning, have a little bit more water. If you don't eat
I went through an entire 24 in like 2 days.
Yowza, that's good. You're like me. That's almost how much I drink it every 2 days. Right? Yeah. I drink a lot of water too myself. But yeah, those are baby steps.
I have a question.
Yeah, shoot.
Karen phytoplankton. I've heard it on the radio. Do you know anything about this new thing?
Okay, say that again.
It's phytoplankton, and the brand is called Karen.
Like
the phytoplankton is the new thing. I don't know. I've just been hearing ads for it all over the radio, so I thought I'd ask.
So I have never heard of it. So here's the thing that, maybe I'll wrap this up with this. No matter what diet is out there, no matter what trainer might be shoving something down your throat, at the end of the day, you guys know your body's best. Nobody like the diet industry, and this is too bad that it got here because it's not black and white anymore. And it always could have been black and white, but there was just too much money to be made in, hey, you guys buy this water. It's 0 calories. Buy this water. It's going to hydrate you. Buy this water. It's got loaded with vitamins and blah, 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 and chemicals. But I'm not going to tell you about the chemicals part. You got to make sure that you're picking a nutrition path that is going to fuel you, that's going to sustain you, that's going to allow you to enjoy your favorite foods. But at the same time, you guys really need to learn how to track your stuff. You really need to be mindful and hold yourself accountable to a whole other level of keeping yourself safe in that nutrition is the way to do it. No diet is going to work for you if you're limiting yourself or restricting yourself. It's not. Okay. How many diets have you failed and actually stuck with? I've failed. I'm going to say probably I tried 30 diets in my life. You've done 0 diets? I've done like 30 diets. I've done everything.
I knew, and I don't know how I knew, but I knew from a young age that diets, unless you have the mental fortitude to keep it up your entire life, they are useless.
I'm going to tell you that.
And that's just,
yeah.
At least Yeah.
So
Just
through
saying,
what I've
for
been
me,
doing,
because I start and stop and I won't
yeah,
continue. And that
because we go from restriction to overeating, from overeating to restriction, and we cycled this up, and we marriage this awful combination of mind fuckery, and we really torture ourselves because now we're on a diet, which means you're eating lettuce and tomatoes and onions, and that's all you get to eat, and maybe a boiled piece of chicken, and you know, that's it. Can't have beer, can't have this, can't have that, have no fun. They called me, they always told me when we go out, when we were in Mexico, that I always had no fun in my plate. But at the end of the day, it was actually really delicious to me. So it always filled me up and it always fueled me. And it was really, really good. If you don't feel like you're restricting yourself, if you don't feel like you're in a nutrition jail, if you feel like you can actually sustain it for the rest of your life, I've been vegan for 4.5 years now. And I'm telling you, it's been the best for me. I've been at my healthiest. I've been tracking my food at about 1,800 calories, just about 1,860 calories. And I've literally been able to follow this plan for the last month. And I don't feel like I'm restricting.
Who's Ryan?
Ryan.
You're correct, Ryan. Who's Ryan? I'm Alex.
Bill.
Just so everybody knows, I'm not Ryan. I'm Alex.
You're Ryan tonight.
I don't know. Maybe.
All right, guys, that is tonight's show. So make sure you guys are heading over to that What the Health page. Go ahead and join that. I do free webinars in there. We're going to have some virtual trainings coming up. I go on live every single day. I follow the examples of what people are asking for with I let the people guide me when it comes to the lives, and I make sure to help hold you guys accountable. There is an 8-week transformation challenge. If you guys are interested in that, it is through the First Form app. Alex, can you put the First Form app thing up there? If you guys are looking for a chance to win $50,000 and you guys want that, then go ahead and join Team Nelson. I am going to be your accountability coach. I am going to be your advisor. I am going to be the person that's going to hold. Then go on Team Nelson.
Okay, I'm in.
Do it.
You guys be in too.
Hey, I'm doing it. I've already committed. I've already told my coach that I was doing it. I'm like already locked and loaded in. So this is gonna be awesome. But you get a chance to win $50,000 if you have the biggest transformation. So if y'all want it, make sure to go there and let's get you started. The 8-week challenge starts on Monday. But as your advisor, I'm going to tell you a few things. This isn't going to be necessarily just about weight loss. I really want to teach you guys how to eat proper foods. I want you guys to learn proper nutrition, and I want to help inspire you guys to really hold yourselves to a higher level of who you are. Because I'm telling you this right now, if you guys keep making excuses as to why not to do something, it's going to catch up to you. It's going to catch up to you. Hold yourself accountable. Get yourself to a next level. You guys are fucking so worth it. Like, I don't think you realize how important you are to the people in your life. I don't think you know that. So hold yourself up to a whole other level. If you guys need a challenge to help you lose weight, if you want a free coach and free advisory from me, join that challenge. Go to the First Form app, type in firstformapp.app, Lynn Nelson, or you can just go to the, if you guys are looking for it, just type that in. And yeah, it'll take you right there. And I will make sure to help you guys out, because at the end of the day, we really need to be a healthier society. And with what's coming down the pipe, we need to be at our strongest in every way possible. You know what, though? The type 2 diabetes really was a great conversation. What I'll have is I actually have a whole workshop on recovery through fitness, and it has a whole type 2 section on there. I'll dig some of that out, and maybe I'll bring that up in my next show, just so that we can talk about it and have a good conversation about how I've helped people before, but maybe some really good tips. So maybe we'll bring that up on the next one. Next week, we have Tanya, the herbalist. So if you guys are on Instagram, go to her. It's Tania, the herbalist. She is got some great content. She is a Canadian fellow freedom fighter as well. And she talks, like today, for example, like she talked about how the pill is actually messing up women and how it's fucking up our system. So like, this is going to be a great great conversation. Wayne, never, ever, ever follow the Canadian Food Guide. They are there to advertise milk and wheat. It's so bad for you. Never follow the in the scope of practice we had for one of the certifications I had to plan all my nutrition meals through the Canada Food Guide, and I said nope, I will never do that. So no, never gonna happen. All right, guys, this has been a fun night. Thank you so much for joining us on this Tuesday night. Next week, don't forget to join us. We have Tanya, the herbalist. This is going to be a great conversation. Bring your questions about anything and everything. She talks about women's health and just health in general. But yeah, guys, this is going to be awesome. And I'm really looking forward to having a guest speaker on here as well. It's going to be just so much fun. Have a wonderful Tuesday, guys. Love yourselves and hold yourselves up to that higher level. And if you're kind of feeling like, well, nobody really cares about me, I want you guys to take a look, because if you have kids in your lives, they really care about you. If you have dogs in your life, they really care about you. If you have that friend that you maybe haven't talked to in a while, they still really, really care about you. You guys are just fucking so worth it. Just know that you're worth it and change your lives, because it is time to hold yourself to that standard. All right. Love you all. Have a wonderful night. Alex, play us out. Bye for now, guys.